Cloud computing. Uh, Nowadays, uh, whatever the applications we are building, mostly customer preferences to deploy it on the cloud. So today, we are going to understand the basics about the cloud, what is the cloud computing, and what are the benefits this cloud computing offers, and what kind of services cloud computing provides. And these terminology cloud nowadays, we can say every organization, every company, whoever try to deliver software to the customer, they are preferring to use the cloud. So what do you mean by cloud computing? So here cloud computing is not a new thing. It is since long ago, but nowadays, due to the technology involvements, we as a software engineering are heavily used. So just to think a basic, whenever we as a software engineer developing any software, okay, developing any software or software as a we are writing the piece of code, and our objective is that we have to compile our code and test our code inside the particular language environment. So for running any software piece, we need some kind of one machine, computers, and maybe required some kind of a CPU. Depend upon our business logic or capability. Might be we need some kind of a storage device, memory to store data. So for running any application, we need computing. We need a specific number of CPUs, and we need a kind of memory, RAM memory, secondary memory. Okay, so if these informations, these resources, we for deploying for running any software, the required. So as of now, before the cloud computing, generally each organizations purchase this hardware, computer device, hardware that contain your memory, that contain your CPU, and apart from that, hardware we have to purchase. Hardware we have to purchase. Plus, we also purchase about the software like operating systems. Okay, so our computers required hardware plus software in the operating system plus the runtime library environment. Runtime your library environments. So generally, for running any software applications, we need the hardware, we need some software, that means operating system, we need the dependency library plus the runtime environment which we need to run applications. So for these things, okay, so in before cloud computing, any organizations are buy this hardware can be your CPU, memory, storage device, computer, everything. Software basically one of the operating systems, maybe Linux or Windows, and the language which you code a program written, what the runtimes environment required, maybe Java runtime environment, .NET runtime, C++ runtime environment, Golang runtime environment, and plus running your application required some kind of a library dependency software. Okay, so if all these infrastructures are available, then generally we are delivering our software component to the customer. And every IT industry have to purchase, arrange the software to deliver customer business product or software. Okay, so that was good initial day, but nowadays notice due to the technology involvements, our applications are used by across the geographical locations. So if your applications are used by huge number of customer base, okay, so how we can offer? So if you have developed, we have, let's say you have purchase one computer and purchase operating system or runtime environment and install your software. So and deploy your application. Your application is deployed. Okay, application is deployed. Then your applications are accessed by this laptop only, this computer only. But your application now are going to use by the different people, different location from anywhere. Then we have to associate my hardware or my computer associate with the internet. So internet provide the global access of your applications. So now with the help of networking, LAN, when we are going to associate my application, the particular IP address, the public IP address, that IP address accessed by the different location of the different customer. Now my applications are accessible with the help of internet across the geographical location. Okay, so that means we also require the networking concept, how our computer associated to the internet and assigned to the IP address, domain, host name, and these things come under the networking. So generally, we need for managing this network, router, IPs, everything. We need a IT team. We need a IT team. So IT teams is responsibility to manage hardware, software, runtime environment, and all your networking dependency. And everything is fair, then our soft piece of code or software which we build that can be run, that can be deployed, that can be accessed. So that was a good initial day. Now, due to the technology involvement, if our customer base is going to so increase, okay, then the particular hardware, whatever we have a limitation. What number of CPU you have, what number of RAM you have, what number of memory you have. Might be our application can serve 100 requests per second, 1000 requests per second, 10,000 requests per second. But after some time, our hardwares have a due to the limitation, they cannot serve infinite number of requests. So what the next steps? We are going to scale our application. So as you know, scaling means now whatever the hardware computer we have, we are going to add more memory, more CPU, so that make a more powerful machine, so that they can serve more requests, more requests, more requests. This is known as a vertical scale. Means whatever the computer we have, you are going to the increase the more capacity, more number of CPU, more number of RAM, so that our system can manage high volumes of request. So one point of time, it's also good. That means our applications are served not with thousand, maybe 10,000, 20,000 requests, 50,000. What happened? Our application receiving more requests. So some places, whatever the our computer we have scaled vertically. After that we can also not scale more, and scaling vertically, putting high number of cpu, putting high number of your memory, that's make too much costly machine. So scaling vertically required cost. Okay, so next option thing, why not? Whatever the normal computer we have, we can add more computers, more computers, and more computers, and more computers. So this concept of scaling known as a horizontal scaling. So for horizontal scaling, our organizations need to buy more soft hardware plus software, more hardware. Okay. So if your applications are receiving high volume of requests, that's okay. But the behaviors of user is not always constant. So might be some particular season, particular day, particular month, particular festival, our application receive high volumes of customer requests. That time we had more server, more server. Maybe after particular festival season over, we receive the less number of requests. So we are not fully utilize our additional resources which we are purchased. So unnecessary, we have purchased lots of computer resources that are used occasionally for particular season, particular month. Rest of the year, we are not utilizing our resources properly. We are just wasting our cost. So these are some challenges for the individual organization. Small organization, small company, they the company IT infrastructure cost is going too much high. Maintaining all this computer, networking, IT department and cost is going to increase. So whatever the IT teams currently are serving, they are managing hardware, operating system, software dependency, runtime environment, networking, everything are taken care by your IT department. And due to the cost involvement, the every organizations are not more focused to maintain this IT department. So here the benefit now small organization, middle organizations, they want to take the cost saving of the IT industries, IT department shifted to the cloud. So cloud computing is nothing, just another way. Instead of the particular uh, software company, instead of going to set up all his networking on his local premises, means they are buying lots of computer, hardware, software, networking, everything. They need a lots of money to cost. So instead of they are going to do everything in house or in own organizations on premises, why not they can rent out instead of purchasing, instead of owning. So cloud computing is the bigger organizations, they have a lots of capability and they can offer all the IT services, all the IT infrastructure to the particular customer. So let's say we have one particular business entity. They want number of operating system, CPU, memory, dependency, software. Why not we ask, or why we cannot get from the cloud provider? The cloud provider, nothing. is the big organizations. They have a very big IT infrastructures and they are share his infrastructure with any number of customers which they pay us. So cloud computing is nothing on-demand availability of resource, maybe storage, CPU, infrastructure, server, everything over the internet. That means as a normal customer or any business entity, they want to 10 machines, servers to test application, run application, just request, hey, I need a 10 or 100 machine for 1 day, for 2 days. Just let's we have built some mission critical application that to require to test load testing we required the couple of high uh, capacity memory and network and infrastructure. So instead of just for testing our POC, our IT industries, our organization is not going to buy all the hardware. So instead of that, the company say, hey, let's go purchase as a rental. So I am going to requesting, hey, cloud provider, can you give me these hardware, computer, CPU, memory, networking concept, everything, so that I need this configurable machines for the 1 hour for my test. So just you have to pay for 1 hour and take all the machines you test and just release them. So this is the concept of cloud computing. So whatever infrastructure or resources you require to build your application, run your application, and deploy or test your application. So now our software developer or software industries which are delivering software, they are just focusing, hey, we have a build our software and now I want to deploy need a specific environment. We have to test required a specific environment. We have to deploy in particular. So all kind of environments, our hardware, our software, computer required. Everything you we can take as a rental on demand services. That means we are going to use services that's provided by the big entity, that is the cloud provider entity. They give us those machines and we have to use them and we have to pay what we have to use. So overall cloud computing, the meaning is that we have to eliminate the need of individual business to self manage physical resources. Now, so our independent organizations or company are not going to managing all the physical resources, not purchasing, maintaining IT department, everything they are doing. Instead of that, they are just going to the pay what they are using. They are using one computer for 10 days, the only we have to pay for those, not for the buying, purchasing everything for ever in the IT industries. So this will overall save the cost for a smaller organization for, and also we have to get other benefits. We're going to talk lots of benefits, but overall objective of the cloud computing offering as a services means rental services, you can say on demand services. You can say, hey, I need 4 GB 4 GB RAM and plus 10 100 GB hard disk, one computer. You can deploy your code, you can test your code and release for the number of for the times you want. So here the you need resources on demand over the internet and you can pay the amount the time you use. So this is the basic of cloud computing. So there are lots of, you can say, uh, benefits we will talk, but the overall meaning of cloud computing is that all the IT infrastructures you can get over the internet with the on demand. Here, maybe server means your computer, server, storage, RAM, hard disk, soft disk, maybe some database server, maybe some software, maybe some application, everything. The cloud provider provided as a services. So whatever the things you need, one particular computer or server or database or third party library or dependency, you as a IT engineer, you just go on the cloud, you have to go on the cloud and demand, I need these resources. You can access them, you can use them, and you have to pay, and you have just leave once your testing development done. Everything, every IT infrastructure, every physical, now we are not going to buy any physical computer, memory, RAM. Instead, we are just going to take on demand as services from the cloud provider. Okay. And these cloud providers, as we discussed initially, they provide all these resources related to our software that required to run. We have to just pay as you use this, as the time you are using. And they are allowing more benefits like your application become more flexibility, scalability, cost saving, reliability. With lots of things cloud computing offer you by defaults. Okay, so these are the benefits, you can say, if our applications, whatever that we are building our software product, and we deployed inside the cloud, means that is the infrastructure we are using by the cloud provider. So our application can get additional benefits that's offered by the cloud computing. Like our application can become scalability, horizontal scaling, vertical scaling. You don't care because every hardware infrastructure taken care by your cloud provider. So you can set scalability, flexibility, cost effectiveness, reliability, security, and faster time to market. Okay, so these are the benefits. I'm going to talk one by one so that we can understand. But these are the limited one. But nowadays, the big cloud providers are offering a lot more benefits to the your application. And as per your application need, customer need, business use case, you have to take the benefits, the service provided by the cloud provider. As usual, scalability is the one of the key benefits offered by the cloud provider. That means your application, let's say your application deployed on a particular server, and each hardware, each computer have a limited facility. So if your application receiving high volumes of requests, might be one machines, one server is not sufficient to the serve. So here cloud provider add more server to you, add more server to you, add more server to you, depend upon the traffic uses. If user request is going to more increase, they are going to plus more server, plus more server, plus more server, so that your application can still serve each request to the each customer. Might be particular season is over, our request number of size going to reduce. So here down means maybe we have to just remove this server, and remove this server, and whatever the server needed to serve my application, that is taken care of. So you can say now scalability of your application, you as a software engineer is not more concerns. let them, your cloud provider, help you to say, hey, your software is scalable software. Similarly, flexibility. That means cloud service can be accessed from anywhere, from any device, and any types. That means your applications access by the internet. Okay, and that is the 24 multiplied by 7 and every year. Means ki across the geographical locations, different locations, different timing. Maybe someone tried to access from the computer, someone tried to access your application from a mobile, or some different third-party applications. That means your application now become a more flexible. That means your application are available anytime and anywhere. This facility offered by your cloud provider. As a software development team, we are just focusing to build my business use case, business capability, and deploy it on the cloud. And flexibility, scalability concept, our requirement is met by the cloud provider itself. We have to just configure, tell, hey, cloud provider, I need these applications more scalable, highly available, and flexible. They can offer this for your code. As you say, cost effectiveness, because here now as a IT company or software industries company are not going to the buy each and every hardware software in for its own. Instead, what number of times they want to use, they can take on demand as a rental services from the cloud provider. So we have to pay only for the uses, not we have to just buy all the hardware forever and we have to invest lots of money. So initial days, whenever these cloud providers are not cloud computing not exist, at that time every IT industries are investing heavily of amount to just set up his the IT infrastructure where computer server IT team lots of money we are going to invest nowadays. These IT team infrastructure cost is going safe, and we have decided our team, our company are going to the pay only for those period of times where our we are using the particular resources, maybe computer, RAM, memory, whatever. Here also you can say reliability is built-in feature. Each and every cloud provider nowadays ensure your system is reliable. What do you mean by reliable? That means, hey, reliability means that if my applications accessed by the particular user and accessed by another users, accessed by the different user, accessed by the different user, so, due to the global presence of this cloud provider, they can offer services to the nearest location. This is known as edge computing. Okay, and if what happened due to the this is because finally your request is served by the particular hardware. Maybe some hardware failure happened, some disaster happens, something in particular region happen. If the particular server are going to down, so what happened? The request that is served by these number of customers. So you cannot say our application is say not available to serve the request. Cloud provider already provide the concept of the redundancy. This is the same server available in the different places, different location, different zones. So all the requests are routed to the different zones. So still our application able to serve. So if any node, any networks or failure happen, cloud provider offer hey the same node, same data available in a different Trojan, so that a particular server may be down, may be restarted. Still, our application's request is going served by the different region, different node. And once this node or software are recover, restart again, going to serve by the nearest location. So you can say fault tolerant, or failures of the hardware, software, network, disaster, any kind of problem happened in my software, cloud provider offer make the multiple copy, multiple data, multiple versions of your application in different location, and from different locations, still they are ensuring that your customers are access your application. So these things also provided by the cloud provider. About the application reliability is a very key concept. Let's see. Today I'm going to access the google.com, Google search. So Google's offer us always our Google search available for across the geographical location for everyone. If particular one data center, particular one server crash or down, is still customer is not facing, hey, server is down, we cannot access the Google. Still you are able to access from the different location, different region, because they have a redundant copy, duplicate copy. And one of the key criteria about the security, because whenever a particular business are building the software, previously they are putting every data, every information in his on premise, his own building, own data center. They have some level of security. So what happen if these data, these informations, we are going to the put in the cloud? Okay, so now cloud providers also responsibility to ensure that whatever the information, whatever the data you have, that is also going to the secure. So every cloud provider offer the security. That means कि your applications, your data is first accessed by the authorized entity and authenticated user, right person. And those person also have a right access to read this data, write this data, modify it, means ki authentication, authorization. And if someone tried to read data and all the information is stored inside the cloud, also going to ensure the cryptography, means ki encryption, decryptions, all the data travel between the networks, outside of networks. They are ensuring that your data are encrypted so that no one can read the data. And if someone try to read, that must be authenticated, that must be authorized. So all the security parameters also taken care by every cloud provider. So we are get confidence as a whatever the data we are previously storing our own house, own in premises, that can be stored on the cloud, because cloud also offer the very robust security measurement for your placing data. And one of the good things for the software engineering, so whatever the new tool, technology, POC we are doing, just we are building the software, doing and for the testing, for the we are just going to the cloud and offer some set of server machine and test them and deploy them. So you can say faster to market. That means you can easily build software, and now we don't focus on a hardware, software dependency, patch, OS update, everything taken care by your cloud provider. You just demand, hey, I need to test this application. You test this application, everything fine, deliver to the customer, right? So here, like spin up of new instances or retire them in a second. So within a second you can get the machine, you can get the server, and allow developer to accelerate the development with quick development. So here's a development team, software building team. They are just writing his code, and don't worry where they're going to test. How can get the machine quickly within a second, within a minute we can get the machines, and where our development team deploy the code and test. So cloud computing support the new innovation way to test new ideas, designs, and new applications without hardware limitation and slow procurement process. So now our engineering teams more focus on just delivering the software, building the software, any new idea, POC, new designs, develop the code, and request, hey, I need a particular types of server to test my application. If my test application is going on, let's go the deploy. So this help us to meet our deliver our application or product to the customer as early. So these kind of lots of benefit we talk. Let's talk the types of cloud computing. So generally, you can say majorly nowadays three kind of cloud computing. Okay, first known as a public cloud computing, second as a private cloud computing, third as a hybrid cloud computing. So let's talk one by one. What do, as a meaning say public, private, hybrid, be clear, but let's again talk. Public cloud, that means any third party provider, any organization, any company, big organizations, deliver cloud services over the internet and making them available to the general public. That means these are the public cloud providers. They are offering all the computers related resources, software, hardware, everything, software on the internet, via the internet to the general purpose. That means this infrastructure anyone can access, just we have to pay and use them. So public, that means public are used by the maybe individual developer, individual company, in big organizations, maybe groups, community, anything. I mean that this is available for the general public. That means anyone want to get the benefit of these cloud services, they can approach the public cloud. So these are the famous public cloud provider: AWS, Microsoft Azure, and the Google Cloud Platform. So you can say these all the cloud services are offered by these big player nowadays. But this is not just these Amazon's or Microsoft or Google. Instead of maybe Oracle, IBM, lots of big organizations have this public cloud. Public cloud means any general purpose, individual developer, group of company, any IT industry want to access the computer resources, computer, server, database, network, everything can get online from with the help of internet. Second one is the private. As mentioned, private cloud means the each and every IT industries have in own premises. This means they have a own building, own power supply, own cooling systems, and they buy his own computer, server, memory, hardware, software, and they are managing all the power supply, cooling, everything taken care by the individual entity. So this is the cloud environment to provision and manage organization premises and behind a firewall. And these every informations are accessed via the internet, but with under the some particular firewall, VPN security. These are accessible only for the dedicated person. The particular company want, hey, these services are accessed by the this my company, this my client only. So private cloud means ki all the IT infrastructures are taken care by the particular company organization, and they are allowed these services to his employee, his customer only. Okay, so this private means the company which want this my infrastructure or services are accessed by the my client or my customer one. So this model provides more control and security, but is typically more expensive. Here, notice that every data, every informations are under the organizations and the campus of the particular industries, particular company, and they are more secure, more control. No one, no any other general public, anyone try to access these computing resources because they are the private and they only allow the specific IT person, customer, or particular business organization admin can access these applications. Rest in the world, no one can access the private cloud. But the only disadvantage, Benefits is very controls and very expensive. Okay, so this is the we have more security, more control, but typically they become more expensive due to this ex- expensiveness. The public cloud help us. So nowadays, some places you want to these are the particular IT organizations. Everything's are managed by these organizations, and these informations available for those only person, secure person, a particular a company admin, particular client, particular customer using the networking concept like a VPC, firewall, virtual networks, VPN. These are some concept through which we can allow our services, IT services over the internet for my customer, for my client only. And the third, due to the expensiveness and the public cloud offer the lots of less cost. So some organization, some company can be use a combination of both. So some for secure data, very highly sophisticated data which cannot go beyond his networks. Yeah, some organizations, some country have some rules and regulations. You cannot put some data beyond his region, his locations, and the particular center. So those scenario we are going to use the both concept public plus private. So here, publics and privates, if the particular company are using the both, that is known as somehow the cloud, hybrid cloud. So here, benefits are the both. So many applications nowadays are using this hybrid cloud concept. Means ki any secure data, any banking transaction, something, they are heavily they don't rely on the public networks, so they can everything keep inside his private network using the VPN, using the firewall and the security. They allow some informations which can be accessible by public. The some services they are taken from the benefit from the public cloud, some services from the private, and both combines meet the customer business capability, business use case. So many organizations nowadays are using the hybrid clouds. So some places where they cannot compromise our data, our machines, our software, our code. So those are they are keeping in the private clouds, and some informations are very easily they can go for the public clouds. They are going to the public, and your application public and cloud can be communicated via the firewall, via the internet networking concept like VPNs, tunneling, lots of concepts available where the different networks can communicate to each other. So here, private networks and public networks can be communicate with the different protocols, and they are also ensuring that your data are transferred between the private cloud to the public cloud with they are safe, encrypted, and all the security parameter, company, organization, industries, maybe the particular country have some rules and regulations about the data, rules, prevention, action. Those are taken care. So these are the some kind of types of cloud computing. But you can say the mostly nowadays we are using our the cloud for the server, for the compute engine and compute resources, storage, and database mostly. So for any if you build any applications, key concept, you need a particular server, you need the storage device to storing file, images, logs, and some kind of a database as well as. So generally, any application you are building, we required one server, we required our storage capacity and file systems, and pre-organize the database maybe. So these are everything considered as a resources in the cloud computing, and everything you can get on demand over the internet. And if you categorize these services, compute, storage, database, so these are the terminology generally cloud provider we talks. Okay, infrastructure as a services, platform as a services, and software as a services. So nowadays, cloud computing is not only focused on the hardware capability like the compute engine, storage, database. They are moving more and more. Nowadays, cloud provider offer more feature capability as a services. So let's talk infrastructure as a services, platform as a services, and software as a services. Whatever till now we have discussed. So all your whatever your IT teams are doing for your company. IT team what do? They prepare hardware, server, computer. They associate, manage all your storage, all your database server, everything. So whatever the you and finally your networking, local area network, wide area networks, IP address, routing, everything. All these informations which our IT teams on our particular infrastructures are managing. These services on the cloud, we can say infrastructure as a services. So infrastructure as services offer on-demand access, IT infrastructure as a services, maybe computer, storage, server, networking, virtualization, everything. It's provide the highest level of control over the IT resources and most closely with the traditional on-premises IT resources. So whatever the previously your IT engineering teams are doing, everything nowadays offered by the cloud provider as a services, known as a infrastructure as a services. And next one is the platform as a services. So now cloud providers is not stops providing services as a hardware, as a software, as a machine, as a patch, as a OS. They are moving more nowadays. Say, कि, hey, instead of hardware plus software resources also offer as a services to the application development. Now the company can focus only on the building your application without the burden of managing and maintaining underlying infrastructure. So even let's say you want to run your application. For running your application, maybe you require some runtime environment, some dependency, some pre-installed software. Okay, these things, these dependency for your application is already taken care as a platforms. So now you just focus on your code, whatever writing. REST dependency, third party, OS update, patch update, everything just let. That is known as a platform. Platform is now your service provider is providing the infrastructure or environment where you just focus on your writing code. Just leave where how we can get the runtime environment library third party just tell them hey this is thing now everything taken so platform as a services now come as a multiple way these are two more famous area container as services are function as a services function as a services nowadays also known as a your serverless technology okay so and function as a service. That means you just give the piece of code to the cloud provider. This is my function, and everything is taken compiler, course, everything is taken care by your cloud provider. Just you share the this is my code and run. And nowadays, many places we are writing our code and we are making the container based. So if you have already some container image, Docker container image, or any container where application can deploy it, you can also use the container as services. So platform as a services offer different kind of facility. So here the focus of platform as a services to the Software engineering team. Software engineering teams just focus on writing the piece of code. Rest all the management activities taken care by your platform as well. So you have to just write code and take the benefit of cloud provider. Cloud provider tell us, hey, just give me your code and I will compile the code, I will build the code, I will make a jar, I will deploy what the environment needed, what the database needed, how to load balancing, how to request handling, how to request forwarding. Everything is taken care by your platform. They are just cloud provider just expecting your code, your source code, your repository, and later part, everything is taken care by yourself. That is known as a platform as a service. Now, cloud provider provide one platform where you can just share your code, container, and everything is taken care by cloud provider. This is known as a platform as a service. And nowadays, our cloud provider just not stop here. Key infrastructure services, now platform as a service. They go beyond. They can say we are going to offer software as a service. Now, whatever the previously software developer team doing, they are building a software, writing the code. So nowadays, cloud providers say, you don't write even one piece of code. You just tell what your use case. For your use case, already we have a build software. So that means you as a just customer, you as a customer just log in my application and access my application. These applications are ready made for you. You can just use as a client. You don't need to think how can build application with technology, with database. Everything now are taken care by your cloud provider. So very good example nowadays. Many customers we are using the Gmail, we are using the YouTube, we are using the Google Drives. All these are your software as a services. We as a customer using the Gmail, we as a customer using the Google Drive, we as a, using the services YouTube, you are using the services as a Google Map. All these software we as a customer just using. These all things provided by your cloud. So this is known as a software as a services. And nowadays, our cloud provider, lots of common use case, common business case, they are written software. We are any company or any organizations, according to our use case, they can use inbuilt ready-made software. Now there is no software development team, engineering team, software engineering team required. Now cloud provider is taken care by everything. This is known as your software as a services. This is a software services deliver full application stack as a services. Underlying infrastructure to maintaining, updating, and app software itself, everything. So we software as a solution services offer end user application where both services and the infrastructure is managed and maintained by the cloud service provider. So let's come look all the things in one these slides. So here you notice these are the traditional on-premises our the server IT department, and after that these are the cloud provided services. Okay, maybe infrastructure as a services, platform as a services, and the software as a services. So here notice the two color. One is the blue and one is this. So one here says generally whenever you are writing any software, so these kind of majorly every software have your applications, your code, your software, and they use managing, maintaining, storing data. To running your application, you require the runtime environment, in which programming language you have written the code, what the library, what the binaries they needed, and some middleware software required, and some your running application required the machine hardware. they require at least one operating system, then virtualization, then server machine, then storage device, then networking. So generally, these are common things for every product or software required. So whenever we are using the traditional IT department, that means we are keeping everything, purchasing everything in the particular IT industry itself. So every all the things are taken care by your managed by myself, means managed by the particular industries, particular company. So they have to manage networking, storage, server, virtualization, OS, everything. Whenever we are moving from the traditional IT or on premises to the cloud, whenever we want to move cloud, the cloud have IaaS services. The cloud say we can don't focus on the operating system, virtualization, server, storage, everything now taken care by your cloud provider. And you just focus on your application, data part, runtime environment, and middleware server if you want. Now you move to the platform as a services. So now you don't need the run everything. Just you have to focus your application, what the application you want to build, what the code, and how you are, which kind of data you want to save, where data going to save. So applications and data are just required to manage by their customer, and rest everything is taken care by your cloud provider. And whenever we move to the software as a services, so here everything for application, data, runtime, middleware, operating system, virtualization, hardware, everything is taken care by your cloud provider. We just we become just end user, client using the application. So these are the services offered by your cloud computing. Okay, and nowadays, lots of applications. Generally, we are using the platform as a service, right? Because lots of ready-made software already built by the cloud provider. That's there is no make sense. But many business cannot fit with the ready-made software. So each business, each company have a different business requirement. So for those business requirement, different use case, different capability we have to build. So our applications and data are mostly nowadays software engineering teams, software designs team are using to the platform as a services. Here we talk about the two function as a services, and a container as a services. So nowadays, containerized based public services applications are the function as a service server. This is function as a services known as a your serverless technology. So nowadays, all the software industries or IT industries which are going to serve the business that are not available ready-made software. Lots of clients, though they whatever the ready-made software provided by the cloud provider is not meet the customer requirement. Then those customers are moved to the platform as services. And mostly nowadays, all the engineering teams, software engineering teams, focusing on the platform as a services and generic solution that can be fit for all the general purpose for particular almost for all domains. These the cloud provider also heavily investing in working as a software as a services, so that he common use case, common functionality, common business generally taken care by a software service itself. But some, or you can say almost all the software development team which are working to focusing our shift from in traditional IT to the platform as a service or infrastructure as a service to the this. Okay, so mostly nowadays we are using the platform as a service as a software development team which are developing a software. Okay, so these are some informations about the cloud computing. So these information, our objective is that we should aware. Someone say, "Hey, our application is going to deploy in the cloud," or we are using the serverless technology. So this is not the meaning of serverless technology when there is no server, no hardware, no software. Everything is taken care by your cloud provider. We as a software engineering teams, our responsibility we have to write the piece of code. This piece of code is executed by your cloud provider. For executing your code, what the compiler needed, what the CI/CD pipeline needed, what the runtime environment needed, what kind of server needed, what kind of memory, everything is taken care by your cloud provider. You just tell, hey, this is my code, I want to run, and just test. So this is nowadays serverless is also famous, but overall cloud, we as a software engineer, we should know these are the services benefits offered by the cloud computing. Unnecessary, we are not going to invest our time. Let's say I want to make scalability. So for we are not going to think how our application become highly available or scalable or maintain the reliability. You just focus on your business use case, how the customer want to implement the business use case. Rest the all the non-NFR, non-functional requirement like scalability, high availability, durability, reliability, fault tolerant. Now just let them cloud provider just offer for you. You just focus on your business. That is more and more convenient way instead of yourself going to build everything. Just try to use the existing benefits of the cloud computing. So all are the very good point about the cloud computing, but we have to be careful. For what? So this is a lots of benefits are offered by the cloud computing. Is very good. We have to use the benefits of the cloud computing. We have to take the benefit of cloud computing, but we have to ensure that whatever the things we as our application going to use, we have to pay cost. So we as a company, as a user of the cloud, we have to well aware the pricing model, cost model. Okay, because cloud provider going to charge you per second, per minute according to the billing cycle. So if you are using the particular one resources and that are used by maybe 1 day or 2 day, 1 month, 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 30 year, 50 year. So you have to ensure that how much cost you are going to pay to the cloud provider and how much revenue you are generating from your business. It is not case nowadays many organizations are going to face challenges with the cloud computing because we have the customer, our company need to pay more and more cost, lots of resources. So here my intention is that whatever the cloud services you are going to using, be aware the pricing, the cost model, because we are, let's you are building your software and you are deploy on the cloud. Now you have to pay for every second and not just 1 day, 2 day, 10 year, 20 year. So think in 20 year how much cost you are going to pay and our business getting those revenue or not. So maybe 1 year, 2 year, just predict how much revenue we are generating, how much cost we are paying to the cloud provider, and how much benefits, advantage, how much profit we have. So overall, the business is profit. So what the revenue you are generating and how much cost you have to pay to the cloud provider, and then you can calculate your earning. And until you are not aware, later part might be you are in the trouble. So each cloud provider is given the clear guidelines how much cost you have to pay. Let's you have using the some storage, and here continuous files are you are storing a saving. You have to think for storage device we have to pay every times day, month, minute. Okay, so how much times you have to store from each month? Many times our applications have generated some data. Might be that is delivered for 1 year, 2 year. So you have to ensure that after 1 year, 2 year, we have to archive them or we have to put the different places so that we have to not pay more cost. So be conscious because the here storage, the file, the hardware, the software you are using, you have to pay till the times you are using the cloud. So as a software engineer, this is our responsibility. Be carefully try to minimize the cost of cloud computing. For that, you should aware the basics of the cloud computing and according to a business use case, according to a business need, you have to use the specific cloud resources and for a specific period, and we have to define all the pricing model. So these information might be helpful for as a software engineering teams. Okay, thank you.